Raul, so I wanted to share with you that when we started working from home, it was March the 8th. I was in Budapest enjoying my holiday in 2020. And when I came back, everybody just started working from home and I freaked out. Is going to the office, attending events and collaborating with. So I was spending a lot of my time in the office premises. So I literally freaked out that how I'm going to work from home and it's not gonna come easy to me. But the various tools and processes that we applied, you have bought a lot of exciting, innovative ideas to run Scrum ceremonies, for example, the Lego side of things. Would you like to share more on our virtual collaboration and how teams can make working virtually more exciting?
Cool. That's a fascinating topic. So one thing to begin with, I'm a fan of working from home myself, but I'll come to that. That even full remote teams, and this is really important. Full remote teams take week-long resorts when they go together and they do team building activities in person, because building your connection with your team at the personal level is very important. Now, what happened when we get remote in Workday is that everybody in the team had built these connections over the first year working there. So when we went to working from home, we had these connections. Even if we couldn't have face-to-face interactions, we already had these connections. So building in-person relationships is very important for remote teams. You have to do it one way or another. So even if you're fully remote, you want to have team building activities in person, maybe quarterly, maybe less, but you need to have that. And when you move to work from home, personally, I find it a lot better. To begin with, I'm saving 50 minutes of commute each way. That's almost 2 hours a day. That's a lot of time that now I can spend with my family. So I like that. And I find that I have a lot less interruptions. So if you're an engineer, you really want to be down into coding and solving problems without anyone going around you, without the need of having headphones and saying people, I'm busy. And it's much, much easier to focus if you have a good environment at home.
Sure.
Or at least for me and for a lot of other people. So the two of things together made us work better. And the fact that we had all these previous in-person relationships made our team work really well in remote.
True.
Now, funny part.
Yeah.
As an autistic individual, I find Zoom meetings fascinating because I cannot read body language, not that much. So in Zoom, you don't really have that much body language. So I find it like a more level playing field where no one has access to this information. So now we are even. But because I've been doing this all my life, I'm actually kind of a slight advantage. And people have to do the extra effort to decode all the information that they will normally read from body language, from the tone or from the words.
Right.
And you heard this theme about this term Zoom fatigue. Sure. And I was joking that, yeah, you got Zoom fatigue because you don't have body language to decode this information. So at the end of the day, you're exhausted to do the extra processing. Sure. Now figure out, that's how normal in-person meetings feel for me, because I cannot parse in body language and I have to make an extra effort to try to figure out what the people is trying to do with a full day of meetings is extremely exhausting.
Same here, Raul. I have the similar experience when I am working with my colleague on the Zoom. I need to have their Zoom on because it helps me understand what their expressions are, mainly the body language. I think for me as well, it plays such a big role. Otherwise, by the end of the day, I find myself so fatigued because my brain is constantly trying subconsciously to understand or decipher. If one of my colleagues doesn't have a camera turned on, I struggle to understand the expressions or maybe to connect from the emotional point of view. Yeah, I have these struggles. I do.
Funny stories about eye contact. You know, autistic people are mostly very bad at eye contact, which on Zoom call doesn't really exist.
Okay.
So for me, I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking at you, but I don't have to be doing eye contact with you because we are not in the same place. For me, it's much easier. It removes a lot of extra effort to have to focus, where am I looking? And that actually makes it, this communication, asynchronous virtual communication, makes it a lot easier for me. It's the same when you are in Slack. You don't have any context. You don't have body language. You don't have tone. You don't know if someone is being sarcastic or is just been trying to be friendly. You don't have that information. You have to decode that exclusively from the message and emojis,
Right.
mostly from the message. And that's an effort that for me is normal, but other people are not used to that. I mean, for me and for a lot of autistic people. So we find working from home to be kind of a leveling field, and it's some other people have like this social anxiety of how should I behave in an office? Do I have to tell hello to everybody? Do I have to engage when I go to the coffee maker? Do I have to engage in conversation? When someone asks me, how are you? How much is too much? All the small things, they are a waste of energy. That is mental energy that we have to do every day. I mean, I know you neurotypical people don't, but we do. All that is gone. So I have a lot more energy to devote to my work. Well, we are like 50%-ish time in the office.
Okay.
And it's like, it depends a lot on your manager, but the idea is the same as no one is checking when are you entering and how many hours are you working every day, as long as you get your work done. No one is checking that you're doing exactly 8 hours a day or 50 hours a week or whatever. So no one is checking how many days you're going to the office. As long as you are around here, sometimes when there's a lot of in-person interactions like quarterly planning and things like that, yeah, it's better if we are all in the same room. So right now we have one very meeting heavy day where we do all these full in-person interactions, like all these meetings.
Right.
And I also allocate a lot of one-on-ones on those days. Those days I don't even write code. I don't even try. We found that this mix, when you are at home, you are doing full focus work. When you are at the office, you're making advantage of in-person interactions as much as you can. It's working quite well, and it gives, to me, 2 days a week is the best, because it gives me the flexibility to talk to people, but at the same time get some work done, and it saves me a lot of time in commuting, but you still have this in-person connection. So this model is working really well for me, but what is critical moving forward in the industry is to not be fully remote or fully in office, is to be fully flexible, is to ask the person, what's your preference?
Right.
Do you want to come every day to the office? Do you want to work from most of the days? Do. As long as you work fine with your team and you are all okay with this,
Yeah.
everybody gets to work the same way. Because like I have an attic, I have a very nice office, I have a very good layout. I separate my workplace from the rest of my home so I can actually disconnect. This is very important. But if you're just graduate, you're sharing a flat with other people, and you have to work from your bedroom or from the kitchen, then remote work is not really serving you that well.
Definitely.
You're probably better off going to the office every day,
Yeah.
especially if you live within walking distance.
Sure.
So for these people, going every day to the office may be the best option. Maybe in a few months later, they find an apartment on their own and they prefer to work from home more often. But it really is about giving people flexibility to find the way they work best. And I think Workday is doing a pretty good job at that. And they're being very clear on their expectations and what is good and what is bad and what they want from people. So
Yeah, absolutely, Raul. When COVID started, I wasn't a work from home person, but gradually, after seeing that all the different models we were putting in place for making it comfortable for the team members to work comfortably from home, some leaders were asking us what works the best for you, what makes you more productive, and I think now we understand what works the best for us, what makes us highly innovative or productive. So yes, on the basis of that, we should have our choices to make. And
keep in mind that what happened in 2020 was not working from home. Was you cannot go anywhere because it is a pandemic.
True.
It was not. It was a lot of stress added to. It's not that I'm working from home because I want to. It's because I cannot even go to the office. The stress levels, the lack of preparation, the lack of options for everybody.
Yeah.
It was much worse than a conscious decision to say, let's open work from home. And now that we are in a state where we can have this option. I think people that are opting for working from home are much happier because it's a lot less stressful overall. 2020 was a crazy year.
And Raul, you have nailed it when you mentioned that we never started from the idea of working from home. It was a preventive measure that we couldn't just go anywhere. And that resulted into work from home circumstance or model. Yes, definitely. How can we forget it? That it never started that way.
It was not intentional
At
to try to
home.
work from home. It was like there was no other way.
Yes.
The situation was very stressful. In my case, even the school closed, and I have my kids at home, and I had to take the parental leave to help with homeschooling. It was a very stressful time, and despite all of that, we did quite well. One of our coming back together in person, we did zip lining.
And at Workday, I really enjoyed the team events that we used to run. They used to be on the quarterly basis, so that was one of the best part that keeps the team bonded together. And I think that's how we are connected even. And yeah, I think these the collaboration techniques and the team bonding, the emotional EQ side of things, and team events, they keep us connected, and the connect relationships that we will build with each other at that point in time, they last forever. And that's what brought us together in this conversation, Raul. And I'm sure a lot of people who are going to watch these sessions are going to learn a lot from you.
Well, thanks for having me, Sharon, and thanks for listening for this old man ramblings around. I do try my best. I mean, after all, like mentoring is one of the key areas as a principal engineer. So I try my best, but I still feel like most of the time I'm a grumpy old man rambling about all things that don't matter anymore, but it's fine. I have fun with it, and as long as people are enjoying it, it's okay.
With the energy, the enthusiasm, and the drive that you carried within the team, that encouraged everyone around us. So I still have great memories from Workday, and I cherish those, and I share them whenever I get a chance. Definitely.
That means we were successful team then.
Yes, we were indeed. And I had realizations that cultural teams, more diverse teams, more closely connected teams that are working like family together and learning and growing and developing with each other is my working style. That's what I love the most. Where I can share my real self.
Thanks very much, Raul. It was lots of fun.